Hey everyone, I'm John Lincove, and I'm here at the Consumer Reports Auto Test Center with the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado EV and RST trim. Like every vehicle that we test and evaluate, we went and bought this Silverado at a local dealership. We're gonna put 2,000 miles on it and get some behind-the-wheel experience, and then we're gonna lock it down, put it into our test program, and put it through 50 subjective and objective tests and evaluations. So the Silverado EV RST that we purchased has the Ultium 205 kilowatt hour battery, which is EPA rated at 450 miles. It's capable of charging on a DC fast charger at up to 350 kilowatts. And on a level 2 system, it's capable of charging up to 19.2 kilowatts. It comes standard with 4-wheel drive as well as 4-wheel steering, along with an air ride adaptive suspension. The MSRP in total was $94,500, and there's no options on our truck. With the $1,995 destination charge, it rang up at a pricey $96,495. So the Silverado EV is a little bit late to the game. The Rivian R1T was the first electric pickup truck, so of course it was first. Ford, with its Lightning, used an existing platform, pickup truck platform for the Ford F-150, so they kind of jumped ahead. Chevrolet, on the other hand, made a clean sheet design for the Silverado EV, hence, it came a little bit later than the other two. So there's a ton to unpack with the Silverado EV. Actually, more than 4 tons to unpack because this weighs almost 9,000 pounds as a curb weight. So as part of this review, we're gonna go over some of the annoying features of the Silverado EV. We're also gonna go over some of the cool ones. For example, we're gonna start at the front here with the e-trunk. Now, one of the things you hear about with EVs is that there's no engine up front, so there's a ton of space, right? Some manufacturers use it to fill it up with electronic components. But the pickup truck world, they're using it to give you extra storage. So you've got tie-down hooks, you've got bag hooks, so you can, put grocery bags in the front here and keep them from sliding around. You've got a 120-volt power outlet here, so you could power a portable speaker, or even, you could power some lights like these. Also, there's cup holders here, so you could actually use it as almost like a tailgating chair at a kid's soccer game or something like that. It's not too sturdy, but it works. Now, one of the ways you can open and close it, as you saw, is with the little hard-to-find button underneath. You could also use the key fob to open and close it, and you could open and close it from inside the vehicle. So in the back, we've got another cool feature that we've seen in other GM trucks. You could power down the tailgate, but you could also power down a built-in step so that you could get up into the bed and carry big, heavy things out like a snowblower or whatever you're carrying around. And pretty sturdy. It'll be great for my kids to jump up and down on. The standard on the truck is a soft tonneau cover that you can roll up, so it Velcros down. You can roll it up. And in there, it reveals a panel in the back that you don't see on most pickup trucks. In fact, the last time we probably have seen something like this is on the old Chevrolet Avalanche. So some cool things here, like most pickup trucks, it's got hooks, so you can, again, secure items in the bed. It comes with a sprayed in bed liner, so you're not banging up the metal with stuff. You don't have to go pay extra for $96,000 to have a bed liner sprayed in. Also, up here, because it's an EV, this thing is like a giant rolling generator in the sense that you have 4 120 20 amp plugs. You've also got a 240 volt 30 amp plug here, so you can run this power with the vehicle off in a certain setting, and you can power a refrigerator. You can power some items in your house if there's a power outage. It really is super useful, and because the battery is so big, you actually have a few hours, multiple hours, that you can run the items on without worrying about draining the battery too much. All right, so the midgate opens in 2 separate sections. First of all, you got to kind of crawl around here, flip the seat down, pull this release, push this release here. This side powers down. And now you have basically an opening all the way through to the bed where you can carry longer items. 2 drops, the window falls forward, release the catch, you take the window out. Now, you put the window in here so that it locks in. Then the cool trick, press the release and the whole back opens up. You have an exposed bed So you can put a couch, put long boxes, whatever you need to. And now you get a much larger, more useful bed space that goes into the cabin. So we've taken the great circle route, but we're finally going to get to talking about the inside front of the Silverado EV. Now you'll notice it's got standard running boards on it. It's not so much that it's jacked up to go off-roading, it's actually just lifted up because of the giant battery underneath. The doors are all big and they are kind of heavy, surprisingly heavy compared to many pickup trucks. Once you get through the step, whether you need the side here, the running board or not, you get in, you find a fairly roomy space that looks a lot like all the other General Motors electric vehicles that are recent. Even, some of the other non-EVs, the ICE vehicles, they have the same big screen, the same controls. It's a very familiar space if you're familiar with GM's recent vehicles. So once you're inside the cabin, it's a big, spacious, roomy pickup truck type cabin with a wide center console, big armrest, and you're faced with the new style General Motors infotainment system, climate controls, and steering wheel. If you've seen any other recent vehicles, you're going to be pretty familiar. So when you look around, one of the things you do notice is that it's nice inside. It's not necessarily $96,000 nice. This isn't on par with a Range Rover or a Mercedes-Benz GLS or something like that. Now, that's because most of it's going towards the technology of it being an EV. There are nice features, soft center console here with nice contrasting stitching. The seats are leather seats. They're not heavily bolstered. Again, you're not getting thrown around in this as much, so they're more for all-day comfort. You have some hard, grippy material on the door panels, plastic here, some very tight weave roof liner material. The armrests are symmetrical, which is nice, so you're sitting kind of a right-angled even position on a horizontal and vertical plane. So overall, it's very nice. It's just not super luxurious. So the controls in the Silverado EV are a mix of hard controls, like some climate controls, such as temperature adjustment, window defrost, fan speed, etc., and a lot of controls in the screen. So you have the remainder of the climate controls down here at the bottom. You could also pop up the climate system. You could adjust rear climate settings independently of the front climate system. What you'll see here also, you've got stuff, vehicle status. You've got Google Maps, for example, for your navigation system. You've got shortcuts up top where you could jump into audio, you could jump into the map, you could jump into your phone settings, etc. So things you won't see on here, icons for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. General Motors' strategy is that all of its EVs will just have the Google operating system here and not let you mirror your phone. They're internal combustion engine vehicles. You still can mirror your Android or your Apple phone. So what you've got is the Google Play Store. And in here, once you sign into your account, you have options to add Spotify, Google Maps, Waze, all kinds of different options. You could download them and then you have those icons on the screen. You have to log into your individual accounts through those apps. So instead of mirroring your phone with those apps, you have to log in and put your data into the car. So in terms of visibility, it's kind of a mixed bag. Sure, there's a lot of windows all around the truck, but you do have super thick A-pillars, windshield pillars here, very thick roof pillars for the B pillar, as well as the back of the vehicle. There's a large window in the back, but the head restraints do get in the way a little bit. Another thing that's kind of interesting is that the hood is much shorter than you'd expect in a pickup truck. There's no engine there, so they don't have to have a giant hood there. So it gives you a little bit of an odd perspective when you're parking. It takes a couple times to get used to, that you could pull up much closer than you would think when you're driving a big pickup truck. Another weird thing is that the mirror on the passenger door for the rear view is not convex, so it doesn't have a perspective that actually matches up with what you're seeing in the rear view mirror above the car. It's just an unnatural feeling. You don't have the message in there that says objects are nearer, maybe closer than they appear. It's something that takes a while to get used to, particularly for people like us who are jumping from car to car. Sure, if it's going to be your own primary vehicle, you'll get used to it eventually, but you certainly will notice that it's different when you first drive the Silverado EV. One trend among EVs is that they have artificial noises pumped in to replace that engine sound. Sure, it drowns out the wind noise and the road noise, but we don't really think that that sound is necessarily anything that enhances driving experience, and it does get annoying. The harder you accelerate, the louder it is. We just leave it off, and we think it's all the better for it. One place that is a little weird, though, is the Pedestrian warning. A lot of the General Motors vehicles had this overly loud pedestrian warning at low speeds. It's a government mandate to have it, and it permeates the cabin. So when you're at speeds, 18 miles or so or less, you really just begin to hear this womp, 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 the external noisemaker that's telling people who are vision impaired that there's a vehicle around them. It comes through the cabin, and it's kind of annoying. It makes you almost want to speed up no matter where you're driving, even if it's a low speed situation, just to get that sound out of your head. So like we said before, consider the Silverado EV as a giant battery on wheels. It's a powerful vehicle, but not necessarily as quick, even in a sport or performance mode, as the Ford F-150 Lightning or the Rivian R1T. That said, it's still a very quick vehicle, particularly for the fact that it's hauling around almost 9,000 pounds. The Silverado EV also comes standard with GM Super Cruise, which allows for hands-free driving on mapped highways. It also comes standard with a whole suite of active safety systems, including forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection, blind spot warning, and rear cross traffic warning. Overall, the Silverado EV is a pretty cool vehicle. Yes, it weighs almost 9,000 pounds, but that giant battery gives it some long range. But the big thing is pickup trucks are meant to tow and haul. And when you're starting out towing, knowing that you're only getting 50% of your total range, unless you're going to spend your time finding high-speed DC fast chargers, the Silverado EV is much better for being more of a local vehicle, a local vacation truck, taking your camper to somewhere nearby rather than a multi-hundred-mile trip. For more information on the Chevrolet Silverado EV, as well as other electric pickup trucks, go to consumerreports.org.